I've stood here many times, and Dad sat there every Sabbath. And anytime I told him I was serving, he was always here early to make sure he was seated right there, watching us, serving God. And my friends used to joke, your father-in-law is always out with his iPad taking pictures of his family. And Dad loved us very much. I have no doubt of that. And Angy and I continue to share how blessed we are to be in this family. We have never felt like in-laws. We are treated the exact same way. When there's family meetings, we're always asked our opinion. And it's a blessing. I know it's not normal for everyone. I know not everyone experiences it. But for us, we have continued to see God's goodness in the family that invited us in. And even with the husbands that God has given us, Ted embodies everything that Dad is and Dad was, and I don't take it for granted. I know that I will live a good life because the example that Ted got from Dad, I will continue to experience it. And Dad prayed for us all the time. If I was sick and he found out maybe from Ted at the gym, he'll call and tell me, let me pray with you. If the children were experiencing something, he would always just call to just encourage us and just pray with us. And anytime you shared anything with him, a video, a picture, he always said, thank you for sending this to me. And I will miss that very much. I just want to share one thing that reminds me all the time that God gave us a good father-in-law. In December of 2023, when I was expecting our second child, I fell ill when we were in the village. And Dad was so worried. Mom stayed with me until I was discharged. But Dad kept praying for us. And we came back home to Nairobi. And if you were in church or if you watched the service of January 1st, 2024, Dad gave a testimony to thank God for my healing. I didn't ask him to do it for me. I didn't even know he was going to do it. But he did it just to show that he's continuously praying with us, praying for us, thankful for all the things that God does for us. And he's also in sorrow with us when we are experiencing sorrow. And I will miss that very much. And Mom, I've told you before, we've told you with Angy, we are going nowhere. We are with you to the end. Yeah.
Moments like this, I'm not very good at speaking off the cuff. I'm sorry. I just want to say I also love this girl very much. I love this family very much. So allow me to read through my tribute. I can't comprehend the fact that Dad isn't here. I still don't know what that means. I still don't believe that it's possible that he's not here. These 2 weeks, 1.5 weeks that we've been home, I've been waiting for Dad to walk through the door, just the way he always did. To me, he was a titan, a big man, somebody whose presence was so felt, you can't imagine that he wouldn't be there anymore. When Willis and I were dating, I remember Dad asked to meet me for the first time, and I didn't know how to prepare. I was so afraid, but we eventually did meet. He was so funny and so kind, and that is how our father-daughter relationship began. As Sharon says, he was not my father-in-law, he was my other father. He welcomed me so warmly to the home, and over the years, he rejoiced with Willis and I, counseled us, and was at our side, especially when we had tough moments. He'd always call and chat with everyone, but he and I would chat for so long. Willis would come and tap me and ask me, what are you still talking about? And I told him, if you don't have any stories for Dad, I do. I'll miss the fact that we have a little one, almost, our last borns are 6 weeks apart. And whenever I'm feeding my son breakfast and he gets distracted, I'll always distract him and tell him, where is Kwaru hiding? Then he'll turn and look, and then I'll put a spoon in his mouth. This last week, I've not been able to do that. I keep catching myself. And in fact, my daughter reminded me, you can't say that anymore because Kwaru is not here. On Sabbath evening, we used to have dinner. And when we leave, Kwaru would always say goodnight twice to all of us. Once, when you leave the house, he'd come out, you'd lower the windows, he'd say good night. And then when you're turning to leave, again, he'd come and tell you good night. That won't happen anymore, and I'll miss it. He loved us all so much, and he was always laughing, always smiling. But when you ask him, he'll tell you he had a tough week, but he'll say it with a smile. I loved it. He changed my perspective on how to live life. Finally, his love for God shone brighter than anything else. He ministered to us. He covered us in prayer. He blessed us in the Lord's name. He called us to remember our Creator when all is said and done, and I will miss him so much until we meet again.